If you're like a lot of buyers, you've been looking for a while. You know a home is so much more than just a picture you saw online. And now you're starting to discover which neighborhoods are really attractive, which schools actually might serve you, not just because you have children, but for resale purposes. And you're starting to really zone in on what it is you want. So what happens when you find a home in a neighborhood you're really interested in? What if this is the best home in the neighborhood? What if it's not? Let's talk about it, because depending on who you are as a buyer, the answers are different. So here's a little scoop on homes. Mid-size homes are the most attractive to people. In fact, 4-bedroom, 3-bath houses are the most attractive of all. So expect a lot of competition there, regardless of what the house looks like. The larger homes, 5 bedrooms, 6 bedrooms, the ones that are more expensive, they have less buyers looking for them. So you may find yourself competing against less people. The other thing that's really important to know is that the square footage is actually worth more on a 4-bedroom, 3-bath house than it is on some of the larger ones in most cases in the same neighborhood. So if you need that larger home because you have kids, expect that the square footage value on that home may be a little less than your neighbor who's actually got 4 bedrooms and 3 baths. And that's just the way square footage is. It actually goes down as the home gets larger. So the biggest reason why buying the biggest, baddest, best looking house in a neighborhood may not be the best in terms of resale for you is because the surrounding comparable homes help determine the value of your home. And so if you buy at the high end of the market, you have to know that the others who are lower are also going to be brought up by the values of those that continue to go up and yours. So that means your value is probably going to stay about the same, or it may even drop depending on what the market's like. So if you make the determination that that's the house you want and you know it's the most expensive one, you're doing it because you can afford to do it, and that's the house you want. If you're doing it because you're trying to make sure you buy a home that's actually going to appreciate, then you might want to start to think about that and look at the homes that may not be as sharp as that one you've got your eye on that you already know is the most expensive in the neighborhood. But it's really up to you, isn't it? So here's the rule of thumb. About every 7 years or so, the market takes a shift and it becomes less of a seller's market and maybe more of a buyer's market. We actually don't see that shift quite as often in California as in some other areas, but it's going to happen. And you need to know when you buy at the high end of the market that you're probably not going to make as much money as someone who buys on the low end of the market or comes into the market and takes advantage of coming up at a time when the prices are a little lower. So it stabilizes the price for that particular person, and it may actually lower the value of your home over time. But the reason you moved into that home may be very different than that other buyer, and you may not care. You may have decided that that's the home you want. It doesn't make much sense for you to buy anything else based on what your needs are, and you make decisions based on a lot of different reasons. So if the reasons that people buy on the lower end or buy the mid-size home just aren't important to you, then you probably want to buy that house, and someone has put a lot of work and effort into getting it ready for you as the buyer. So consider these things when you go out to shop. It's super important that you look at community, that you look at neighborhood, that you look at the looks and feel of the other homes around you. It will affect your value, it will affect the price of the house, and it'll also affect how much you make on this. So give some consideration to all of those things and get out there and find your next home. So I look forward to visiting with you next time. This is Deborah Durbin, Sacramento Good Life. Call me at 916-303-1888. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.